And we're going to move on to my next guy. And it is the quarterback. I'm leaving the best for last. And that's going to tell you something right here. We're going to go to the quarterback. It's out of North Dakota. It is one Mr. Trey Lance. This guy, I call him this man. He is a child. He's going to be 21 on May 9th. He's 20 years old right now, Trevor. He's so young.
Should have stayed in college, homie. Should have stayed one more year.
It's hard because he's probably going to go top 10. So it's like if you stay another year, you come out now, you get paid.
I'm pretty sure he is, yeah. I think you're right.
100%.
I think he might be one of the guys the 49ers like.
It's a possibility. So he's 6'4", 226. 2020, they didn't play for North Dakota. I'm pretty sure they the whole team
played one game.
Yeah, they played one game. He was 13 for 26 or 30 or something like that, and had 140 some yards and 140 yards running or something. But in 2019, where you can kind of get a bigger sample size, he had 100. He played all 16 games. He had 192 pass attempts 192 completions. Wow, that is so hard to say apparently. For 287 attempts, 66.9% completion percentage, 2,786 yards in the air, 9.7 yards per attempt, 28 TDs, zero interceptions. Not to say that he didn't have some that he could have thrown an interception on, but he also had some on the ground too. He had 169 rushes for 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns. So this guy he's a robot, essentially. That's the best way I can put this. So he is very technically sound. From top to bottom, the way he does everything, he drops back properly. He doesn't do the whole heel clicky thing. He keeps a wide stance for a lot of it. And, like this, it's stuff like that he does that, like, it gives everybody hope of what he can be. He's got a good arm. He's tall, and he understands protections. You see him talking to the offensive line, calling out protections and calling out stuff. You don't see that from 20-year-olds. Like, that guy would have been doing this at 19 years old. He's calling out protections. You don't see that. It's unheard of. And then when it comes to like an actual throw, like, he can get it there. And he's very smart when he comes to I guess when he does all this stuff is he's very like drop back. Okay, first read, second read. Okay, there you go. He's very like, I got to go through my progressions and I got to go through my reads. And I find sometimes he could just dump it down. There was one play against somebody, I can't remember who it was now, but he was, he drops back and the tight end does like the little 5-yard and hook, and he's just standing there. And instead of going for him, he looks at him, goes on to the next read, and he doesn't go back. He decides to go for the next read instead, and the other throw wasn't really there. So sometimes it's like, look, you got an open guy. He's 5 yards down the field. He's wide open. Just hit that guy. Like, it doesn't always have to be that way. Like, I know
doesn't always got to be like
it doesn't always have to be a big play, right? And that's,
yeah, I get you.
And I understand, like, that's what I complain about Derek Carr doing the check down thing all the time, which is great. You don't have to be a check down quarterback all the time, but once in a while, if the play's right there, just take it.
Take the 5 yards. Yeah.
But he's got some stuff. He's got good movement in the pocket, all this other, when it comes to that. There was one play, it was against Southern Illinois. It was a fake jet sweep. So the receiver's coming in motion. It's going to pretend like the jet sweep. So he fakes it off. Everybody goes to the right. He kind of sits back, kind of scoots over to the left, and there's a guy running down the middle. So he sees the throw down the middle for the deep ball. And usually once you see the deep ball, you lock in on that, right? That's a way a lot of the guys operate. And in this case, he actually realized that throw might not be there, looked to his left. There's a guy in his face rushing towards him, and he hits the out. Like, it was just a really quick. Now the guy drops the ball, doesn't catch it, but it was a thing that I watched, and I'm like, oh, like the ball bounced off the receiver's face mask. Like, we want to talk about how we talked about earlier, how the guy gets his hands out to catch it in front of his body. Yeah, that's what this guy had to learn. This receiver had to learn to do. But the play itself, it was just the simplicity of, nope, the fake, Kate, move, scoot over to the left a little bit, kind of check the deep ball. Nope, it's not there. And then hit. He's on the right hash mark, and he's hitting the guy on the left side. Like, it was just such an easy throw for him, that he's got the arm talent to get there. Now, some guys have this guy as the third best quarterback in the draft, just from what he can be, just because he is so young and he is so raw, and that he is obviously coachable. Like, they've obviously coached
He's got
him.
talent too. Yeah,
He's got all the stuff you want. One of the only things against him, I guess, is that he isn't the most accurate. He's sometimes a little scattershot with his accuracy.
Sails some balls
some balls in the dirt. There was one, I'm trying to remember who it was against, but it was just like a little out route. It was either like a running back, fullback, tight end, whatever it was. And he kind of just had the guy, and he's rolling out, and the guy's by himself, and he just kind of just puts it in the dirt.
Misses it?
Yeah, just like a little bit too low. It's just something you can't miss. And he did, unfortunately. Like I said, it's not all the time. Sometimes they're right on. And in most other quarterback drafts, you would say, he's still pretty accurate. The problem is he's coming out in a draft with 3 or 4 of the most accurate quarterbacks that we've seen in a long time.
While,
like
yeah.
all 4 of these guys above him, depending on how you look at it, are all elite when it comes to the accuracy. You know, you're talking about a Mac Jones who maybe he doesn't have the most, powerful arm in the world, but he's going to get it in that little hole that he has to every time. Justin Fields, same thing. He's going to get it right where he has to every time. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, Trevor Lawrence is one of those guys you could talk about all day long because he's just so good.
Does a lot of things really well.
And then Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's the same way, where he's also very accurate, right? Even on the run, everything else. So on any other time, you'd be saying this guy's accuracy isn't an issue. But like I said, against these 4 other quarterbacks that he's up against, it does become an issue. But he's super athletic. He doesn't mind running. Like I said, he'll set up the run too with his protections and stuff. Like, he'll go and tell the lineman, look, I said that was one of the things I came away from it as being impressed by, is watching him talk to the offensive lineman. Even after plays, you can see him pointing out stuff like, hey, that was the guy. Next time we have to know to watch for him. Like, he's coaching up the offensive lineman as he's going through it. And like I said, you just don't see that out of a college,
especially at that age,
out of a college coach or college quarterback in general. And then to say that kid was doing it at 19 years old, that's ridiculous. Like I said, that's the one hard thing about this year, is that you're talking about, a lot of these players didn't have seasons or didn't have full seasons, right? Trevor Lawrence played, Fields and Zach Wilson, right? Like, there's some guys that played, but there's a lot of them that didn't play this year. Penei Sewell didn't play. Caleb Farley didn't play. You just go
Chase
down
didn't play. Batman didn't play.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch of boys.
You go down through the list, and like I said, some of them their actual seasons were just shut down, like a Trey Lance, right? So, I don't know. Like I said, I think he's the one that you would really hope to see that he sits a year. Now, whoever that is, right? Maybe that is behind. Maybe he's the guy that the Patriots.
Jimmy G.
Go. Maybe it's the Patriots. Maybe it's Jimmy G. Right? Mm-hmm. You never know who it's going to be, but it's one of those things. I would almost say the 49ers, but I think the 49ers want to win now. This is the only problem. I think they still got a couple of the guys that are still on smaller contracts, the defensive linemen and stuff, that they're trying to optimize the window, and they're trying to win now, which would make me kind of more inclined to seeing them take a Justin Fields or Mac Jones, even though I think Mac Jones is probably the 5th best quarterback out of the 5. To see him go 3rd would be weird. But like I said, just to see all this stuff happen, I don't know. Like I said, it'd be nice to see him sit for a year behind a Jimmy G.
Seasoned.
Like I said, if the Patriots came up for some reason, trade up and say, look, we want a quarterback, maybe they grab him at 6 or
Got
8
it.
or whatever.
I'd love for them to trade up.
Or like I said, I don't think you're going to see him go to a place like, where else are you talking? I don't know. Maybe he goes to Atlanta. Atlanta would be another good spot because he'd be able to sit behind Matt Ryan, right? Now that depends on what happens, right? If Justin Fields is still there because San Fran's dumb and takes Mac Jones, and I say that, but I just see Mac Jones as more of a Derek Carr type of player, which nothing against, like I said, it's Derek Carr is an NFL quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but is Derek Carr ever going to be a top 10 quarterback, 15 quarterback? Probably not, right? Like just he's not never or not consistently. Maybe he can
for
be
sure, but I'm just saying nobody saw Brady turning into anything, and you know how that worked out. So.
No, exactly right. Like I said, there's lots of potential, but
for sure,
like I said, and you're talking obviously between Cincy and everything else. Detroit, I don't know if that works with what the coach kind of talks about over there with biting off kneecaps. Maybe he goes to Carolina, but they got Sam Bradford now, right? So why would you take a quarterback when you just traded for one? A Denver, I'd hate to see him go to Denver because it's just Denver. It's not even that I'm worried about playing against them. I just don't want to see Denver ruin another first round quarterback. Like it's just
that's funny.
You're just ruining them all. But he would have all the talent in the world there, right? You have the pass catchers, you have Sutton and Judy and Tim Patrick and Noah
they got a lot
Fant
of pieces
and
in Denver.
Everything, right?
2 sick wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, like
so,
you get everything you could
actually
want.
3, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, 3 pretty good ones. Well, we'll say with 2 sick ones and 1 pretty good one. So.
Exactly. But like I said, it's just he's got everything you could want, and I think if he's coached up properly, I think he could be extremely talented and be a very,
successful.
Like I said, do I think he's going to be, there's potential.
He's not perfect.
There's potential that he could be the second best quarterback out of this class, right? Like you almost look at him as a Josh Allen. Now, is he, the same as Josh Allen? No, right? But he's still got a lot of those same traits, but like I said, the accuracy's not there, but Josh Allen might be the best quarterback out of that thing. Now this year will be a little bit harder because obviously it's Trevor Lawrence at the top. And I think Justin Fields is also very good, but there's a chance that he could be better than all of them, really. Even Trevor Lawrence.
You never know, man.
Situations, right? So
you never know. Like I loved his ability to elude pressure. Like just the way he stepped up in the pocket, kind of felt it. You don't see that a lot, especially coming out of college. Like the greats do it, like Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers, like the pocket passers, classic ones.
Yeah,
they've got that feel and that sense, and like that popped out at me on the tape when you put his tape on. I was quite impressed with that. But like Eric said, his arm talent's unreal. I loved when they rolled him out of the pocket, like play action stuff, and he's running around a little bit, and he's able to, he's so good with his eyes. Like Eric said, he'll move receivers. Like receivers, but safeties and corners with his eyes. And he's able to roll out, kind of come to a complete stop and plant and just throw a rocket. So there's stuff to like Eric said, he's pretty raw. And he misses, he's not great with his accuracy sometimes, but sometimes, a lot of times I was said about Josh Allen, and he was a beauty this year. So, and his accuracy was mint this year.
And we say that, and the guy threw 28 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. We're saying this guy's a project when he literally, put up a total of 42 touchdowns between in the air and on the ground, in 2019. It's one of those other things. Like I said, a lot of other years he'd be a top 2-3 quarterback. This year it's just you're running up against a lot of hard competition.
I think it's important where he goes. It's kind of like who takes him. Get what I mean by that? I mean, it's important what quarterback guru, coordinator get their hands on him and see what he does good in college and set him up to be successful. Like we've talked to before. Like I feel like we just hit it, like Josh Allen and Mahomes and all these younger quarterbacks that have taken the league by storm now. And even Wentz in his first couple of years before he kind of got off track the last couple of years, but I'm just saying, know what he does good, put some of that in your offense, make the guy feel good. But like I said, I kind of agree and lead towards what Eric said. And I'll say this until we stop doing this show, and I'll say it every year we do draft analysis. I'm a big believer in letting that quarterback sit for a year. It does not hurt them, I don't think at all. They get comfortable in the system. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them just don't pan out, and that's okay too. But anyways, like I just think it's big.
And some of them have to play in the second game
Aaron
of the season
Rodgers
because
sat for what, 2 or 3 years?
Yep.
Or 2 years for sure. Phillip Rivers did. It doesn't hurt. Carson Palmer, I think, did.
Yeah.
Like for a year. And like, John Kidna was the fucking quarterback. I remember that. Oh boy. But anyways, like, I just, it doesn't hurt. And I like him. You like him, eh, Eric? You like him?
I think he's, like I said, I think there's a chance that he might be
best quarterback or more.
No, I said he at the end of it, he might be, I said top 2, top 3 out of this class. Like I said,
okay.
I think he's going to be better than Mac Jones. And like I said, I think there's a chance that he's better than Zach Wilson. And that's me saying I love Zach Wilson. I just have questions about Zach Wilson when it comes to him in the pocket. And if you guys are wondering what I think about that, you can check out the last episode too. And we'll talk about that later on in the draft and stuff. But I think Zach Wilson...
Sounds like I'm going to have to do Mac Jones.
Zach Wilson had a lot of good things going for him over there and a lot of protection. And it's just, you never know. If you start having to deal with pressure in your face, it becomes a whole nother game when you don't have time to throw, right? So that was one of the nice things I liked about him. Like I said, that one throw I wanted to highlight was just, like I said, read the coverage, read the deep ball, no, okay, and then, like I said, biffed it to the left side across the body, and then, with a guy in his face. And it's just to see that kind of accuracy and that kind of thought process of how you're going to go through the reads was pretty impressive. So your next guy. Did I want to say one more thing? I guess we could say where we think you'd like to go. I guess we already said
where I'd like to see him land. Trey
Lance.
Lance. Where the heck? Personally, seeing him roll out and stuff, like the 49ers wouldn't be a bad fit. I just feel like I just kind of like the aspect that he can run and run well and make people miss.
That Shanahan offense.
Yeah, like it kind of gives me flashes of a little bit of what was it Kaepernick did?
Yeah.
Get what I mean? Even Smith, really. We don't talk about that enough, but Smith took off running a lot for them when he was there too. And he broke some runs too. Yeah. So like that wouldn't break my heart. Like that'd be sick. And like you said, sit for a year for sure, and then maybe give him the reins, maybe even a couple of years. But like that one sticks right out to me. I would almost say Carolina as well, because I just kind of like
what about
what they do, but they went and get Sam Darnold. Yeah. So I think he's got a new lease on life. And just when saying that, I think just the fact that he's got a running back and Christian McCaffrey, like a playmaker, that he should be a lot more successful and a better offensive line than what was with the Jets. So
if you had the Falcons,
I'll take those two teams.
What about the Falcons? If for some reason, if Sam Fran takes for some stupid reason, if they take
Mac Jones,
or I think it'd be more likely that if they took Mac Jones, that I think the Falcons would then take Justin Fields, because they're just like, okay, perfect, we'll take him. But if, say, the 49ers took Justin Fields, with the Falcons, do you think same thing, that Arthur Smith, that Tennessee, offense now, because that's who the coach is over there in Atlanta now is Arthur Smith. Maybe that fits him too, right? Same thing, that big athletic quarterback, kind of like a Ryan Tannehill, right? You can mold him, you can work him, over time, and he can sit behind Matt Ryan for a year. I think there's ways that Atlanta can get out of that Matt Ryan contract next year, or maybe the year after. But they said I would give him the time to sit back and learn. I don't think Atlanta's thinking they're winning the Super Bowl this year, so it's kind of nice that you can kind of, because a lot of veteran quarterbacks, you're like, we're one piece away, or a lot of these other places, they're like, well, we're one piece away. Where Atlanta's kind of like, we're kind of
they've been horse shit since they lost to New England in the Super Bowl.
You guys killed them.
They've just gone the other, like they lost Kyle Shanahan, and that was the end of it. Like I don't know what the fuck, but honestly, I think I've got a gut feeling, Eric, and you're probably gonna think I'm fucking crazy, but I've got a bad feeling about. I think Fields is gonna drop, and I don't know why, because I like Fields as well.
He's the second best quarterback.
I can't wait to. I've seen a lot of his tape the last couple of years. Like I've seen him play this year, but I've seen him play last year multiple times and the year before. So, and I've seen him back up at Georgia. So, woo! Anyways, but I really like him, but I just got a feeling he's going to drop. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'm hoping not. But Anyways, I'd love New England to come up and grab him, but what do you do?